President Biden on the State of the Union or Disunion? This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network, ONN. President Biden is about to give his second State of the Union address to Congress and the American people this evening. According to this piece in the Associated Press, quote, the president will stand at the House rostrum at a time when just a quarter of U.S. adults say things in the country are headed in the right direction, according to a new poll by the Associated Press Center for Public Affairs Research. About 3/4 say things are on the wrong track, and a majority of Democrats don't want Biden to seek another term, close quote. The Associated Press article says that, quote, President Biden is ready to offer a reassuring assessment of the nation's condition rather than roll out flashy policy proposals as he delivers his second State of the Union address on Tuesday night, seeking to overcome pessimism in the country and concerns about his own leadership. Today, we would like to move beyond the politics of the moment and realistically assess just a few things that may tell the true state of the Union in terms that most of the American people can really relate to in their everyday lives across just a few selected topics, like the national defense, the economy, the system of justice in America, healthcare, and information technology. Let's start with the ability of the United States to protect itself from enemies, domestic and foreign. The U.S. is engaged in providing advanced weapons systems to Ukraine to fight off Vladimir Putin's unjustified war of aggression. But the U.S. has been slow to provide the type of military assistance and strong foreign policy leadership that are necessary to bring the war to a close. Instead, the war drags on, and along with it, the further expenditure of advanced weaponry the United States must have should China continue its military aggression against Taiwan. The People's Republic of China has made no secret of its intention to bypass the United States as the world's leading superpower. As the recent failure of the Biden administration and the U.S. military to properly and effectively deal with the Chinese balloon fiasco shows the world, we are unprepared in so many ways to take on the Chinese over Taiwan and the PRC's quest for world domination. Or how about the U.S. economy? The fact is that there continue to be a very few, very lucky Americans who are incredibly wealthy. In the meantime, a smaller and smaller middle class is getting poorer and poorer. The policies being pursued by the Federal Reserve Bank tell a frightening story of failure in addressing inflation. According to this article in The Economist, quote, it is the Fed, however, that had the tools to stop inflation and failed to use them. The result is the worst overheating in a big and rich economy in the 30-year era of inflation targeting central banks. A major story of way too little, way too late. Again, I quote, central banks are supposed to inspire confidence in the economy by keeping inflation low and stable. America's Federal Reserve has suffered a hair-raising loss of control. Now, nearly a fifth of Americans say inflation is the country's most important problem. President Joe Biden has released oil from the strategic petroleum reserves, trying to curb petrol prices, and Democrats are searching for villains to blame, from greedy bosses to Vladimir Putin, close quote. But the fact remains, ineptness is never a good excuse for failure. Or how about an American system of justice allowed to enter a state of chaos, with major U.S. cities experiencing crime waves with homicide rates from shootings and other violence reaching levels never seen before? What was the President's own Department of Justice and the Attorney General doing amidst the hues and cries of a minority of Americans who screamed, "Defund the police"? What's being done by the administration to pick up the pieces? Or how about the revelations that the Federal Bureau of Investigation has become nothing more than a politically weaponized instrument to enforce the political behavior of American citizens by engaging in unlawful surveillance and shadow banning of citizens of the wrong political persuasion? What will the President say tonight about the FBI and Twitter? I wonder. Or how about the state of the U.S. healthcare system and the botched U.S. government approach to the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic? Or the fact that we still have not demanded that the People's Republic of China come clean with respect to the true origins of COVID-19, even when there are startling indications that the U.S. government's own intelligence community has been in cahoots with Russia to develop fast mutating and incurable pathogens for over 2 decades, even though Russia is politically and militarily joined at the hip with the People's Republic of China. Again, I wonder what the President will tell the American people about these things in his speech tonight. Or how about the complete meltdown of America's transportation system over the holidays, affecting millions of holiday travelers across the nation? No degree of false optimism in the future of the United States can ever change the magnitude of the failure. When something like this happens, America sends a signal to our adversaries in Russia, China, and the rest of the world just how vulnerable our infrastructures are to possible intentional attack. Where has the U.S. Department of Commerce been in dealing with the dangers posed by our airlines, such as Southwest Airlines, to our national security? I wonder what the President will say tonight about the extreme vulnerability of internet and the cybersecurity failures that can be and are being exploited by our Russian, Chinese, and other adversaries domestically and across the globe. If the internet goes down, so does America. So that gives the average American a small but realistic picture of the true state of the American Union. The President and our military leaders are asleep at the national security wheel. The signals of inflation were ignored until it was too late, leaving most Americans poorer today than they were yesterday. America's response to the COVID-19 pandemic was botched, and our critical infrastructures are being left vulnerable to exploitation by Russia and the PRC and our adversaries across the world. Tonight, as I listen to President Biden's second State of the Union address, I'd like to hear his strategy on how he intends to responsibly address these and the other very real challenges to the future of my country, and what we are going to leave to succeeding generations of Americans. It is what it is for February 7th, 2023. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Please subscribe and tell your family, friends, and colleagues about us. We are here to provide our viewers with an honest and objective assessment of the news issues of the day. Thank you very much for watching.